Greetings to one and all. It gives me immense warmth and great pleasure to grace all of your presence in the interest of the entire committee. I am Abdus Samad welcoming you all. Alchemial is an industrial skill training academy dedicated to young engineers looking for a bright future by upgrading their skills which are in high demand in today's industrial market. We have highly experienced industry experts who train in depth and focus on what is beneficial in the industries that assist in getting placements. Our mission is to provide the most reliable skill upgrading platform by changing the traditional way of expensive industrial training into an economic platform by focusing mainly on skills and beneficial knowledge that is required in today's industrial market. Before we begin this webinar, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to all of you who sincerely committed to this event to be here today. Webinars like these are organized and conducted for the general audience to gain insight and information that would remain effective in their work. The topic of discussion for today's webinar is Project Management and Primavera P6 Fundamentals. This mainly focuses on crucial elements of project management that is required to know by project engineers, site engineers, planning and scheduling engineers, and those who are interested in this field. Designed for a clear understanding of all the basic fundamentals of project management and Primavera P6 software, project planning using Primavera P6 software. Also, at the end, we'll have a question and answer session conducted by Hussein Jihad, where you can pose any questions related to today's topic. Today, we have with us an experienced engineer, Mr. Moideen Nasif, a mechanical engineer and a project planning engineer by profession, who possesses good work experience and has completed various shutdowns and construction projects in Saudi Arabia as well as the United Arab Emirates. Currently posted for a medium scale MNC in UAE, he has also been a keen teacher and trainer on various topics from his early days. With that being said, I welcome Mohammad Nasif to please start today's session on project management and Primavera P6 fundamentals.
Good afternoon, one and all. This is Nasif with you. So, we all know what session we are here for. So, this will be some basic topic, a basic talk on the topic project management and Primavera P6 fundamentals. So, like you got the brief introduction from Mr. Samad about what Alchemial is. So, this is my part from here, wherein in the next 20 to 25 minutes, I'll be speaking certain things about what project management and Primavera P6 is. And this being said, in the topic itself, it's mentioned as the fundamentals only. So these topics are very, very deep, and people they specifically they dedicate their career in the later stage within different verticals among each topic in itself. For example, when I say project management, then there's a lot of things. So let's start from the basics. So now we know the current scenario in the entire world, what's happening in terms of the technical advancements as well as the current hot topic of the pandemic. Yeah. So this being said, we know that there's always there is a demand for the graduates as well as the experienced professionals to go on with their careers despite all the uncertainties that happen around in the economic situations. So what brings or what drives some of the people amongst the herd of the professionals is the skills. So we need to know what skills are required for a particular profession and which skills need to be prioritized among the various that's available. So in today's world, we do not have any shortage of getting access to any sort of skills. So like after the last 2 years, we have been seeing that people from different corners of the world are teaching different people around the world, and they are, people are getting benefited. So we have a lot of options. So we have to scrutinize things, and we need to know what a particular skill is about and how it is going to benefit any profession. Yeah. So this is the responsibility of each and every professional if he is really interested in growing out. So there are a lot of experts who know who give their opinions about how things must be progressed and all that, which must be given priority and all that. So companies are always looking for candidates. We know that who are, standing out from the regular bunch of people. So when you take up a skill, when you have invested your intelligence, when you have invested your time and invested your money into something extra, that in itself shows the impression that you are out there for making a difference. Yeah, so that is very important in this today's job market. Otherwise, you are always among the herd, and no one can notice it. So this is always an advantage about having newer skills, and every now and then we have newer technologies. We have to keep updating ourselves throughout our lives so that we stand in line with what the industry is expecting. So there is a lot of questions you can be thinking about. You can think about the different trends of skills that were there before the pandemic. You can think about the very same set of skills, are they applicable on the profession now or not. You'll have to sit and think that. And the set of skills that are required by young graduates before the pandemic probably might have changed, and it will change in the coming years too. So we have seen a lot of difference of operations out in the field, in the job market, in the professional world. Actually, a lot of things of working have changed. So every now and then, this is just a reason. The pandemic is just a reason. The changes which were bound to happen have just accelerated, and they have just zoomed past a few years. That's all. So we need to analyze these things and keep ourselves in line with this. Yeah. So there is a lot of thinking that you must be doing as an individual, like I said. So today we will be talking about one particular skill, which is project planning. The skill in itself is project planning. Okay, so there is various terms you'll come across. You'll come across terms like project planning, project management. Then you will have project scheduling and Primavera P6. All these are from one bag of topic, but they have their own differences within them. Yeah. So the head of all these things, the theoretical approach of all these things is what we call as project management. Yeah. So project management is out there in almost all the industries. Any organized sector, you have something called as project management. Okay. So let's take up in the very simple terms what a project is. Now we have all come across our school days, our college days. So we have been using this term project right then itself. Maybe it would have been an assignment only, but sometimes teachers use this phrase, complete your project. Come down to the college, you have different kinds of project for different courses. Now if someone is doing an engineering course, a mechanical engineering course, so he has a different sort of project. Anyone who is doing an IT project, he is doing his sort of project. So different people have different context of what a project means. Okay, so that is something we realize as and when we progress through our industry with experience. We get to know these differences, but initially when we are using, this was not something that was very similar to us. Now that is a very small scale use of what a project is. Now if I say, you come across the news every day, the state has announced a big project of so many $1 billion. So the word project is there also. So for anything, you can see that there is a small approach of use over there, and project is also used for something which is worth billions and billions of dollars. Yeah. So let's see what a project means. Project in itself means some task or some endeavor which has a beginning and an end. So it has a beginning, it has a start. So any, you can compare anything you call as a project into this definition, and then you can see that it has a start and it has an end also. So something that runs through, for example, if you have an operation of a factory, that's not called a project because it definitely has a start, but you're not planning to finish maybe after 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. Only in case of some, unexpected circumstances, only then, maybe because of some laws or some new rule from the government or something, then only you will be quitting out that factory, but otherwise it's not a project. So that is the basic difference you need to make out. The other feature you can classify is by, after having this first criteria, you can see that project always has some defined scope and resources. That means when we are starting this work and when we are ending this work, between that duration of work, we're expecting some outcomes to be done. So we are expecting some result out of it. Only then this is a really feasible project. Otherwise, there's no point of having anything planned as a project and giving it start date, finish date. All these are calculated dates. It's not that we start on any date and start on finish any day. So there is a huge amount of technical knowledge and experience that's required whenever we plan any sort of project. So now, when it comes to project management out in the industry, I can say 60 to 70% of this skill is basically used in the construction industry. Now, in the construction industry, you have a whole range of different categories. You can have houses, you can have buildings, you can have malls, you can have an entire town or city being developed. Yeah, so they have their own levels of planning required. So each project is different from another. The level of planning that's required for building mall and that of building an entire city is definitely different because the scope of work is different, the resources are different, the time duration that's required to do these two things are really different from one another. So that's what basically what project means. Yeah, and we have, like I said, we have some objectives which are expected. So there will be like set defined, which is mutually agreed between the client and the contractor, that by the end of this project I expect these so and so things to happen. Yeah. So that is about project and project objectives. You have, when we sit and plan for projects, then there is whole ranges of uh, there are different stages of projects. Like we start the concept itself, that we are going to do such and such project. For example, we're going to create a smart city. So that starts with the conceptualization. We only start with the idea. We start with the concept first, and then only it progresses through the different level of initiation, planning, and once the planning is approved, then you start executing the work on field. Then what happens is uh, you monitor the work, and then finally it's closed out. So this is different stages of any project. So when it comes to big projects, all these things matter a lot because within them there is a whole range of responsibilities which need to be completed. If which is not completed, then it can affect the entire result of the project. Yeah. Sometimes the projects may not be as big as the duration of the construction or something. Now let me talk about another industry. When I said 60 to 65 is construction, I would say another 20% of this skill is required in the oil and energy sector. So the oil and energy sector, you have mainly shutdowns or turnarounds wherein the entire plant is shut down, all the equipments are stopped from operation, and then there is some preventive maintenance, annual maintenance, some repair works that have been taken off. But the duration is not as big as the construction works, but there is huge amount of pressure because the plant cannot be closed for more than certain or period of days. So the impact of planning in an oil and energy project and a construction project is entirely different. So the skills within them, the subsets of skills that are required is, I can say, it varies from one another. Okay, so that is another example of what a project is. Then we have the word project management. So we know what is project, what are the objectives and all that. So now, what is project management? Now, project management is using these knowledge, using these experience to achieve what we are expecting from the project. That's a simple definition I can say. So it is like, keeping the project goals in mind, you work accordingly, step by step, according to a planned manner. You have some plan in advance, which is obviously obtained with some previous experience, without which you cannot plan how we can progress with things. You cannot imagine without knowing how actually the things happen on field. So that is basically what project management means. Okay, so there is like uh, many verticals again in project management. Like, yeah, there are certain people who only sit and analyze about the schedule. They do the schedule analysis. Some people are involved only in the risk analysis. Okay, some people are only involved in the resource management within a project. Sometimes projects have thousands and thousands of resources, including the three M's: the manpower, material, as well as money. So managing that in itself is a Herculean task. So there are experts who work only on that particular vertical under the project management. Yeah. So basically speaking, that is what project management is. Then you have P6. Now, project management is the theoretical aspect which has its own practicality. But for project management, there are various tools that are used. So one of the softwares that is used, one of the project management software that is used out in the industry, which is very common, is the Oracle Primavera P6. So Oracle is the one who develops this software, and the name of the software is Primavera P6. So this basically is a project management software which includes all the various verticals, like wherein you define the project, you schedule the project according to the duration, you put in the resources, and you get an analysis in terms of the finance, in terms of the schedule, and it can be collaborated with many other softwares within the developer, that is Oracle, as well as the other ERP systems, maybe from SAP also. So there is a bridge between the P6 software as well as the other softwares that are used out in the industry. So this is a very useful software because when it comes to complex projects, we cannot sit and write on paper or any other simple software like MS Word that we are starting on this date. This is the start date. This is the finish date. No, because there's a lot of calculation, a lot of graphs that are involved, and you need to generate a lot of reports. So this is a software which makes things very easy. Now, if you people amongst the audience, if you have studied the subject called as operational research, wherein we only learn about the different techniques of scheduling activities. A list of activities will be given, the sequence of activities will be given. Maybe a particular activity has one successor, one predecessor, or say it has only a successor, or maybe some activity has two predecessors. It's waiting for two activities to finish, and then only it happens. The start of the activity is happening. So these things we have the basics of these in the subject called as operational research, or OR also it's called as. So that theoretical knowledge which we have come across in operational research is the exact basic that's required for learning P6 also. And P6, let me say very frankly, if you have come across this name, and if anyone has told you that this is a software which is very hard to learn, then I'm sorry that you have heard the wrong thing. The person who has said this to you is wrong. But definitely, there's a lot of things to learn. It's not hard to learn. Let me say this. It's not hard to learn, but there is huge amount of information that you need to know to efficiently use P6. So there is lots and lots you can learn in P6. um, in order to become an expert, it'll take you years and years of practice and experience as well. So that is basically about what project is, what project management is, and what Primavera P6 is about. So next slide, we will address another question. The question is, who should learn? Now this is the skill. This is the basics about what project is, what project management is, what Primavera is. Now, who are the people who should be learning this? That is a question which can come across your minds. Yeah. So this, like I said, P6 is a versatile software which is used in different industries. So this is basically a software which is used by engineers, project managers, and you have certain people who are called as planning engineers also. They are also known as planners, project planners, or some places they are also known as schedulers. Yeah, all of these are the synonyms of one another. Then you expect the program managers also to use this. Then some business analysts, they also use this software for the purpose of analyzing their business in terms of finance usually. Yeah, like I said, if you put in the data that's required, then you come out with the different financial reports that are related to our business. So that's the target audience for this skill. This skill is required by planning engineers, project managers, planners, schedulers, and some business analysis also. So this is the different professions. Now, when I talk about the different industries, the industries can be mainly construction, like I said, the number one industry, which is where P6 is used. The second best industry where P6 is used is the oil and energy. Then you have something called as project management consultants, so PMCs. Apart from the client and the contractor, you have a third party who are like really expert about some mega projects, and they will just put their advices to the client, to the contractor. They'll not be really involved in the work, but they are hired only to advise their technical expertise and then share it if everything is in line with the standards of the construction and all that. So these are this third set of people, project management consultants. Then another very common industry where P6 is used is the IT industry. So in IT, you have usually the development of softwares. So there is a different, there's a whole like different ranges of stages that are involved to develop a software. So that can be broken down into different structures, and then further each activity can be linked, and then the resources that are involved and all that. So that is basically about who should learn project management and P6. Next up, I will be discussing about why you should be attending this course. So let me just make it clear to you. We at Alchemial, we provide a certification course on the said topic, that is project management and Primavera P6 fundamentals. So by the end, if you opt to choose the course with us and finish the course, then we provide a certification with the same name. So why you should be attending this course? Let me say, it is always a daunting task to learn any software, let alone a software, let it be any other skill. You have like a list of skills that you want to learn. But while you are working, you have hundreds and thousands of reasons why that you can just procrastinate this learning, and due to other reasons also you can like blame it on poor time management, or you are usually exhausted and all that. Some of the reasons can be, sometimes it's real. So this is where we step in. What we have done is we have simplified P6 course with us, which is going to cut down your learning time, and we aim to enable the better understanding of the software. So We have it in the very simplest form. Any beginner can learn this software with us. And if you're an experienced person, you can learn the software, and at the same time, you can link it with the industry that you're working at. Yeah. So P6 is something that is often, like I said, it's not very hard, but it is something that's often intimidating. It's something sometimes it's confusing because if you miss a place here and there, sometimes it highlights the errors and then you cannot progress. Yeah. So this is another point where we can help you people. This the way the course that has been formulated, though it's a complex software, we will with our course try and help you to understand so that these confusions can be reduced and the obstacles can be dealt with. Yeah. But I will not say that only one training with us is going to make you a master of this skill. Yeah, like I said, this skill needs to be practiced, and with experience only you can become good at it. Yeah. So the course has been created in this manner. So we will be like into the practice of the application. It's not that we are only going to discuss the features. We will practice the application with some real life scenarios, and any ambiguities, any confusions about the software and the process, we also will explain how the process is. Sometimes when you work on software, you only know to enter the data, generate the graph, that's all. So we will also look into how the process is, how these calculations are done, how these graphs are generated, so that you get to know all in all how the software works also, so that anything goes wrong, you can try and rectify it in your own manner. Just like, say for example, mathematics, there is a standard procedure to do a particular problem, but then once you get a good hold of that, then you come up with your own solution. Sometimes it's not the shortest, it might take long procedure, but you come up with your solution. So that is the creativity that shows that you have polished your skill. Yeah. So we are here with this course to cater to all the varying needs that people require in learning P6. So by the end of the course, what will happen is you're expected to have a clear understanding of the P6 software, which will enable to you can start producing very effective project schedules, very efficient, which can help the project manager whom you're working with. And ultimately, the success is within the success of the project. So once you're able to deliver the project with the objectives on time, the deliverables have to be on time. Only then you can say that you are really successful in any project. Yeah. So this this project management tool, is going to help in that manner. Okay. So that is why I insist that you should be attending and learning this skill, this certification, and this will play a very important role. It'll place some very good weight in your resume as well. My last and final question for today, that will be question number 4, and that is what our course has to offer. So we will have both the theoretical and practical approach. We will be first looking into the explanation of the project management itself. So it's my responsibility that I provide you with what it means and what its scopes are, what are the different tools that I use in project management, and the theoretical data and all that. Then once we're done with that, we will move into the practical, that is the tool in itself. So we will be looking into Primavera P6, what are the different concepts, what are the different features. So this will be with hands-on experience. While I work on the software here at my end, you will also be having it at your end and browse through the different options, because once you lay your hands on the software, you definitely learn things much better, and this enhances your skills much faster, and it has better roots also. You will not forget these things. Otherwise, if I explain it to you on the video, you might practice, or you might even not bother to. Then this will only be a namesake software, that namesake certification. That's not what we intend to. Whoever is with us, we make sure that you'll really learn this skill and really be ready for using it out in the industry once you finish the training with us. So we will encourage during the course of the during the duration of the course we will have different assignments, so that will be to test themselves, and you will know which is your weakness, which is your strong point. So wherever some improvements are required, you will know that problem zone where you are. Yeah. So we will be learning the applications of P6 in great detail, and thereby what will happen is your perspective of construction planning, your perspective about the project management will change after learning these things with us. So, so briefly saying, we will learn the practical, and at the same time, we will go through the practical. We'll also practice the practicals. So that is what we intend. By the end of the course, you will be definitely provided with a course certification that will be dealt with the team led by Mr. Samad. Okay. Another thing that I would like to mention, we might have beginners as well as experienced people in the audience. So how is it going to benefit me? That will be what you might be thinking about. So point number one, this will help your perception of the field, whichever field you're working. For example, you're working into construction, and let's say you do not have a planning department itself in your company. But once you learn what project management is, what project planning is, you get to know about how these mega projects really work, because you already know how the work on field is. Okay. And when you know how people from the management work, then you can link these two things, and your perception is really going to change. So ultimately what's happening is you're getting benefited in terms of your professional thinking, the way you present yourself, maybe in the next interview somewhere else, you can really speak highly in terms of the technicalities that are involved. Yeah. So you understand the management point of view in a much better manner. And with these things said, you really stand out from the other engineers. Yeah. So because you have this skill, and you know to present this skill, you know to link this skill with the field that you're working, this really helps you to stand out from the rest of the other engineers. And all of us are here, to make things make things easier to get any job. So this certificate on your CV is going to have really good weightage when someone who knows what project management is, what P6 is, he is definitely going to value this, and he'll definitely ask you questions to know if you really know these things. So we do not want to put you out with a certificate which you will mention on the CV, and tomorrow when you come across a question, then you will not be able to answer. So that's why we are saying much of the reality, much of the practicality is what we are going to look into. We will not look very deep into theoretical aspects. What is required, we will briefly touch on that, but much of our focus will be on the real time application out in the field. Okay, that being said, I will come to my last and final slide where I'll quickly tell what are the course contents we have. We have divided the course into 7 different sections. So the first section will be about project management. So you have various concepts under that. You learn about what project is, what are the different stages, what are the objectives of a project, and what are the skills that are required for being a professional in the project management field, what are the responsibilities that are there, and usually what are the steps taken and the different industry. And there's a whole range of topics that you have under project management itself. Once that will be done, that will be a very theoretical approach, like I said. Then we will move on to the software, P6 itself. And what we will do is we will learn the process first, how the data is stored in the software. There is something called as EPS, OBS is there, WBS. All these things are on the back end of the software, but you need to know because you are definitely going to enter data onto these structures, and that will how the software will reflect various reports and graphs and all that. Okay. Then there are a whole range of terminologies you'll come across in this section as well. You have the CPM, critical path method, you have baselines, you have progress updating and tracking. A lot of terms and terminologies will be dealt with in this section as well. Then section number 3 will be MS Excel. Now, let me just tell you that MS Excel is a very, very important tool for any planning engineer who works with P6. Because P6, although it's a very versatile software, sometimes it's very easy to import data from MS Excel. Sometimes certain actions can be easily dealt with MS Excel. So this is like a very important tool which go hand in hand. P6 and MS Excel, they go hand in hand for any planning engineer. So you need to know certain things what is required for planning. We'll not be touching about what MS Excel is and how to use MS Excel and all that. We'll be only touching lightly on what fundamentals of MS Excel is required for the planning field. Once that will be done, your practical approach of the project management is done. Then we'll be diving into the much interesting phase that will be the sample projects. So in sample projects, we will take up two different projects, one from the oil and energy, other one from the construction industry, where we will be doing the project live, and you will come to know how any project schedule or any project plan is derived at the end from scratch till the end of the client approval. You see how things are formulated and how these plans are generated. So usually you get to see something like a project plan, but what is there on the software is much more than the PDF what it shows. So we will be going across those things, and once that will be done, we will be concluding the part. My part will be concluded with the interview questions and some group discussion with that. Meanwhile, during the course, like I said, you will have different assignments. So you'll have something for project management, you'll have some assignment for P6, you will have something for MS Excel. Once all this is done, by the end of section 6, we will be done with the live classes. Then you will have to be dealing with the project work. So you will be getting a relevant project for which you'll be given some number of days to complete. And with that, our course will be completed in probably a duration of, I can say, max to max a month. So that is the plan of how we do things. We have been dealing with batches earlier to this also. So that's how we have presented the same thing to you. So this is what project management is, what P6, and what our course is about. So this is all I have to speak for today. Over to you, Samat. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Moiddin Nasif, for your time and sharing your vast knowledge with us, which was very informative. I shall proceed from here. At Alchemial, we conduct training sessions on various topics for engineers from various backgrounds. These webinars are conducted by industry experts who are well experienced and knowledgeable in the field. The webinar as well as the course are made easy to understand, and it is filled with information that is beneficial on the basis of industrial knowledge. Our upcoming webinars and courses will be SAP, Sales and Distribution SD, Material Management MM, Logistic Execution LE, Finance and Controlling FICO. We also have Designing with AutoCAD 2D, Industrial Automation with Programming Logic Controller PLC, Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition SCADA, Human Machine Interface HMI, Variable Frequency Drive VFD. Now coming to the most important thing of our course, we will be giving assignments during the course as well as group discussions. So to make it a real virtual time, we will be having mock interviews with training sessions for a real interview feel. We give you hands-on training with softwares. Also, a course completion certificate will be provided after the successful completion of the course. You'll also be working on sample projects, that is shutdown and construction. The total fees would be 10,000 plus GST. Right. We also have training sessions of mechanical QA/QC, HVAC designing, firefighting systems, AutoCAD 2D, process design engineering, flow assurance engineering, SAP, industrial automation. If you have any doubts regarding our upcoming course on project management or our other trainings we provide, don't hesitate, feel free to ask. Also, you can contact us in case if you have any doubts later. You can note down our mail ID and contact numbers. We would be happy to assist you. Also, I would like to tell one thing. You can take a screenshot of this, snapshot of this. The course fees, course completion certificate. All right. Okay, going on to the question answer section. If you have any questions, you can ping us in the live chat. We'll go through it.
Okay, Nasif, we have one question, that is, how would you differentiate MS projects with Primavera P6, and how useful would that be, and where does Primavera P6 stand in today's market compared to MS projects?
This is a very good question and a very common question we get. What is the difference between P6 and MS project? Like I said, among the project management tools, there are various tools that are used, and one among that is P6 actually. There are in the construction industry, you have various others, which is developed by Meridian, which is by Autodesk, and in the oil and gas, you have uh, MSP is used over there. Sometimes SAP has their own planning software and all that. Now, coming to differentiating this, the versatile nature of P6 is what differentiates it from MSP. The features that are available and the regular updates that come in, that is what helps the project managers and project planners out there in the field, which is why most of the companies they prefer P6 over MSP. And let me just tell you that in the Middle East region, in the Gulf region, we hardly get to see MSP. As far as I know, from my little experience, in India, we have companies which use MSP. Again, these are not really big companies. The ones who use MSP, because it has a lot number of limitations which an MNC cannot deal with. So the P6 is always preferred over MSP for those overcoming those limitations.
Okay, I'll read out another question that just came in. I think you've covered this in your webinar, but I'll read it out again to make it more clear. How will this course on project management and Primavera P6 benefit to the fresh graduated engineers?
Oh yes, I think I just left this hanging over there. I had told about how it's going to benefit the experienced people. The freshers also, once you get through this course, now since you already have very limited knowledge about how industry works, this will pave a way of understanding into the industry of your liking. For example, you want to get into the interior designing field, and you have your basic studies from this background, and now when you come to learning this skill, project management and basics, you already know some theoretical knowledge from your college, and when you link this skill with the knowledge that you have, you go with a different approach when you are attending different interviews. Now, and the confidence level that you have, the way you present yourself, is really going to be giving you an edge over the other people. So I would directly say that this will help you fetch a better technical job, a job which is much more nearer to what you're expecting of your field. If you only go with the BSc degree or BA degree, whatever you have, there are hundreds and thousands of graduates who are done the same. But if you have the skill, then that highlights to the interviewer. Your first of all, your CV gets through the HR to the technical team, and then he is also interested. Okay, this guy is knowing something about PM and P6, so maybe his way of dealing with my questions will be different, and that's what they expect. So that is what is the advantage for any fresher, because you will be able to attend the interviews in a much better manner, and I would say indirectly that's going to help in fetching your job in a much easier manner.
Okay, there's one common question that is popping up again and again. Could you tell the duration of the course?
The duration of the course, like I said, from the starting till the end of your project work is planned for a month only. The part where I will finish section 6 of the sample projecting and the sample projects and the interviews and all that, that will be done in roughly about 3 weeks. You will be having the last 1 week of the planned month for the submission of the project. So, roughly speaking, it's a course for 1 month.
Okay, I don't see any other questions popping up, but I'll highlight 2 points right now. One would be on interview questions. So what we do upon completion of the course is we also have a mock training session in which we'll cover the general questions that would be asked when you are at the interview, when joining as a planning engineer or uh, a scheduling engineer. So this session, this mock training session would help you answer technically to the interviewer and make it much easier for you to crack the interview. So we've done it before, and this really helps because apart from doing the course, you'll also be focusing on how what questions you would be facing when you are at the interview. The second part is job placements. So we are we have already tied up with a few companies, and we are always looking forward to tie up with a lot more companies in the near future. And whenever there are openings, whenever they need candidates, we always refer our trainees who have completed the training and who have the skills. So we believe that once the course is completed, you will be having the right skills to be joined in a company. So I think that's it. If you guys, anyone has any question, you can always send us an email on info@alchemial.com. You can visit our website, or you can text us on the WhatsApp numbers provided. You can call us anytime, and all your questions will be answered. Moving on to Shihad for the vote of thanks.
I, Hussein Shihad, On behalf of Alchemial and the entire team involved in today's webinar, let me call it a fraternity of together to extend. I also like to thank Mr. Abdul Samad for hosting this event beautifully and also answering the question answers. Also, I thank the principals, training and placement officers, and the management of various colleges who have invited their students today. I also want to thank all the participants who made this event successful. Hopefully, we wish to see you in our upcoming webinars and training session. That's all for today, and hope you all have a great day. I would end my speech here. Thank you so much.